everyone.
Aaron and Jenny here, and we wanted to make a video this week that is a little different from our other videos that we usually make.
Yeah.
We're usually doing videos that are fun and showing what we're doing and things like that, but we wanted to have a little bit more of an informative video this week, so we decided to talk about some of the things that we wish we knew before we started RVing. Things we wish someone had told us, or we had read or learned or something before we started. So yeah, let's get started. Number one is, it's not as hard as it looks. Don't get overwhelmed. That's just a general life rule. It's not as hard as it looks. Don't get overwhelmed. One thing we were overwhelmed with when we first started is there were so many different RVs, for one.
Yeah.
So many different trucks, so many tools, so much equipment you needed to buy.
So
Just
many
a
things.
long list of things that you absolutely needed, things that you might need, things that are really helpful. And we just got super overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one thing, if I could go back and tell myself, is it's not as hard as it looks. Don't get overwhelmed. Just buy the essentials, buy what you need.
Yeah, and I think we made a list of, okay, this is the essential things that we need to get started.
Mhm.
And that's really what you have to do is, okay, if you were to go camping this weekend, what do you need to actually go camping?
Yeah.
You need an RV, you need a truck, you need a hitch so you can tow the RV, and
Some snacks.
some snacks and some other little gadgets, which we created a list of things. And if you all are interested in seeing our list, again, it's different for everybody. You can comment below, and we'll find a way to get that to you.
Just can email it to you or something like that.
Just a
It's
template.
just a list that we made based off our own research.
It's not the end all be all, for sure. Like, there's definitely go to a lot of people.
But yeah, but if you want it, please, we can send it to you. We put a lot of hard work into it.
Yeah.
Aaron put a lot of hard work into it. And we can send it to you if you need it. So yeah, let us know in the comments.
The other thing about being overwhelmed is driving an RV made me really, really nervous, and made you extremely nervous.
I was so nervous. I was so nervous, but it's honestly not that bad. Like, we were so worried about it. We saw people driving, we're like, oh my gosh, like, that looks so scary. Aaron and I are 26 years old. We have no prior experience. We know nothing about RVs, and we're doing it, and we learned, and we're doing just fine. So if we can do it, you can do it. I promise.
Y'all can definitely do it.
Number 2 is, bigger isn't always better. What that means is, buy the type of RV that you need, not the type of RV that you want. We looked at so many different RVs that were massive, and they were beautiful, and they had
washers and dryers in them.
Washers and dryers, a separate office room. Like, they had so many great things. But in our experience, the bigger the RV, the more things you have to worry about.
Yeah.
And we have made do with what we have. Like, Aaron's office space is our dining room table, and we just convert it back and forth. There's just little things that we have made work. And honestly, our RV is a great size for us. And we don't feel like we ever need anything bigger. In fact, we could have gotten a smaller one. So bigger isn't always better.
And we've talked about, if I didn't work remotely full time, we may even convert to a smaller rig. Like, sometimes this is almost too big for us.
For sure.
But again, we love what we have, but bigger isn't always better.
Yeah. And you're there for the experience, not the luxury.
Yes.
Number 3. Finding RV sites.
Sarts.
Okay. Number 3. Finding RV
Number 3. Finding RV.
Finding RV sites is hard.
That is true.
I don't know.
She would know. All right.
Okay. Number 3. I can't.
All right.
It's you. You're my problem.
Okay.
Don't look at me.
I am your problem.
Okay.
All right. I can do it.
I can't do it. Okay. Number
I
three.
got it. I
Okay,
can do
go
it.
ahead.
Hold on. Let me come up with myself.
Hold on. I need to drink of water. Okay. Number 3 is finding RV sites is hard. This was something we did not expect whenever we first started. We were expecting there to be spots everywhere, and that was not the case. COVID happened, and a lot of people started buying RVs. Therefore, RV parks were super saturated.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't find spots because of that, and we started looking kind of late. The other reason being is that spots were so expensive. So that was like really difficult for us. So 2 things that we wish we could have known before is 1, book early.
Yeah.
And 2, get a membership if you can, like Thousand Trails.
Yeah, Thousand Trails was really made us where we can do this full time. But if you guys want to know more about Thousand Trails, again, comment below and we'll do a whole video just on Thousand Trails, because it enabled us to do this full time.
And there's other memberships, and they're kind of complicated. It's all really confusing, so we can do a video talking about finding RV sites, how we do it, why we chose Thousand Trails, the process of it, the prices, all these things, so that if you guys need it, you can have it. So let us know. Number 4, don't be afraid to ask questions. This was really big for us because, like we said, we're 26 years old, no prior knowledge. We didn't know how to do any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we learned is don't be embarrassed about what you don't know. Most people don't know this stuff when they get started. So it's really helpful to ask questions, Google, whatever. Ask friends, family that know about it, things like that.
Yeah, and people are always will be friendly at parks. That's what we've learned is even when we showed up for the first time staying at a park, within 10 to 15 minutes, someone drove by and asked if we needed help with anything. And it was
people are so friendly. They're always willing to give advice. So learn from others, learn from their mistakes, but also learn from their advice too. And that kind of ties into our next thing, number 5, is practice makes perfect. And this is one thing that we have learned, especially when it comes to parking. Like we said before, people can be super, super friendly. And Aaron actually had a situation with this on our first time parking the RV.
Yeah, and goes back to one of the earlier ones is just don't be overwhelmed by it. When we did the first back-end site, it was a really tight site, and I had trained in a really...
To this day, it's the tightest site we've ever seen. It was our first time, and it was the smallest area to back in.
Yeah,
Continue.
We have a 31-foot, or just under 31-foot trailer. That spot barely fit our 31-foot. But I was having issues. I was like going forward, then backwards and forward and backwards, and there was a lot of people watching. But a very nice gentleman came up and asked if I would want him to put back it into the spot for me. But I remember Gary, Jenny's dad, Rick, told me that don't let anyone back in your RV for you for 2 reasons. 1, because you'll never learn. And if you don't do it yourself and you don't practice it, and if you don't get it wrong, and if you don't learn from your mistakes, you'll never be able to back in your trailer. And then number 2, they're not on your insurance. Yeah. So that's why we never let anyone else back in our RV, but then also because we need the practice. Number 6, take your time.
Yeah. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be rushed. Don't be worried about anyone else or anything else. Do things right the first time. Because if you don't do things right, if you don't take your time, that's when things break or you mess up or anything like that. So just take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Just do things right. And one suggestion that we have along with that is to have a checklist.
Jenny put together this 3-4 page checklist, and it goes through from the day before we leave to the day of we leave to when we're hooking up, and it outlines every single step we have to do, even just turning off the propane or turning off
the fridge or turning off all the lights, the fireplace, anything that we need to do, making sure the doors are locked. Like, it goes through everything so that you don't have to make mistakes. So if you guys want the checklist, let me know in the comments, or if you know me or whatever, text me or something like that, and I can email it to you or text it to you. It's super helpful. Or make your own.
Yeah.
It's been so helpful for us because especially when you're traveling, you're tired and you don't want to forget things and mess up anything. It's an expensive vehicle. You want to take care of it and you want to do your best. So.
And when we started, we were went step by step, and now we have the steps in our head, but we still take time to stop, and
we still use the
checklist.
checklist.
Did I check the tire pressure? Did I do this and that? And we still use it even to this day. We've been going for a little while now.
Yeah. Okay. Number 7 is less is more. And what I mean by that is you don't want to bring too much on your RV.
Yeah. 1,
it's going to weigh down your RV. And 2, it just causes a lot of clutter. You don't need a bunch of different pots and pans. You don't need a bunch of different spatulas. You don't need a bunch of different cups and utensils. We have, how many mugs? 4 mugs?
Yeah.
We have 4 mugs.
That's almost too much.
4 cups. Yeah, and that's honestly too much. You don't need a lot. So also the thing that goes along with that is there's Walmart everywhere. Amazon delivers everywhere. That's one thing I wish someone had told us, is you don't need to buy everything before you leave. You can purchase things other times. You're not going to a foreign country. It's okay. If you need something, there's a Walmart right down the road in most towns. So.
And Walmart has pretty much everything you really need from the essentials standpoint, pretty much everything you need for an RV. I think for us, it's always the Walmarts we go to. It's in the marina section / automobile. So
what is
the RV stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So go over there and they'll have like hoses, filters, like mats, and anything you can really need.
Yeah. So less is more. All you need is the essentials. Number 8, things will go wrong.
Yeah. RVs and cars. I mean, you're taking your home, putting it on wheels, and then driving it 65 miles an hour down a highway, and it's jostling. Things will break, things will come down. I think we drove it home from the dealership, and when we got home, there was like a little piece of trim that was barely hanging down. And that just is what it is. You have to become a handyman, a handywoman. You have to be able to fix anything. And
you have to be okay with it too.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I wish someone had told us is, don't let it get you down. Don't let it ruin the fun, because things are going to go wrong. You're going to be getting to a site in a new town. You're going to be really excited and something's going to go wrong. And it's easy to get upset or even play the blame game, things like that. Don't do that. Be kind to one another. This is all for fun. It's an adventure. Things will go wrong and it's okay.
It is what it is, and it is what you make it. It's all about your perspective. You can control your environment with your attitude.
Yeah. Number 9 thing that we kind of were expecting, but it took us a little bit off guard, is upfront expenses. There were a lot of upfront expenses that we were not prepared for.
No.
Obviously, you're going to buy your RV and your truck if you don't already have a truck.
Yeah.
But there's lots of tools,
equipment, sometimes even beddings, for us memberships, and then more importantly,
1,000 trails.
Yeah, more importantly for me, I work remotely, so I have to have connectivity at all times. So Wi-Fi and
make sure you have good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, make sure
if you're working from home.
Yeah, but there are a lot of upfront expenses, and
just be prepared for that.
Give yourself some wiggle room for sure in your budget.
Number 10. Having a pet on the road is easier than it looks. That's one thing we were really worried about. we were worried that Harley would be scared,
Yeah.
or we were worried about his litter box and things like that. And we honestly just figured it out, and it is no big deal. We have a modification that we did to the RV stairs where he crawls underneath and goes into a little crawl space where we put the litter box. We'll talk about that in another video. We're going to talk about all the modifications that we did. But yeah, having a pet is so easy. Most people that we see in RV parks have pets, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, and sometimes at some parks it seems that more people have pets than people that don't have pets.
For sure.
Lots of dogs, and you don't know people have cats, which a lot of people have cats we've talked to.
Yeah, but it's so easy. Don't worry about them. They'll adapt, and it's going to be their home, and they'll get used to it, and it's fine. So, number 11, this is one thing that we were told before we left, hence why we decided to do all of this stuff, but document everything.
Everything.
Whether you're just taking photos, videos, journaling on your phone, taking notes on your phone, whatever it may be, make sure you're documenting the good, the bad, the ugly, everything.
Yeah.
Number 12, let's see Harley back there. Number 12, the thing that we wish someone had told us is your life is not going to be turned upside down.
Yeah.
This was really big for us because we were worried about a lot of different things. Like we said before, making sure that we had everything. There's Walmart everywhere. You can get stuff everywhere. And then the other thing too is like doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
You can do telemedicine now. Our plan is to, when we go home in November and December for holidays, we're going to go to the doctor's appointments then. Your life can be normal. You just have to make a few changes and learn a few things, but your life is not going to be turned upside down. You're not moving to a foreign country, things like that.
And going back to what I said earlier, it is what you make it. You know, if you look at it, oh my gosh, I'm missing out on so many of these things, then that's all you're going to focus on instead of focusing on the positives. And also, if we can do it, so can you. Trust me. You guys, if you want to do it, you would kill it. It'd be great.
Yeah. But the biggest thing that if we could go back and tell ourselves, the biggest thing is don't worry about all the small stuff. Just go.
Yeah.
Just go. Don't be afraid of buying the right things, parking at the right places, driving, working everything on the RV. Just don't worry about all that. Don't let fear dictate your life. That's just a good rule for life. We're not experts, you know. We're 26 years old. We are not special. We know nothing about this, and we just did it. We went for it. We learned, and we put aside fear and worry, and we just did it. I mean, a little backstory. Aaron and I'm a nurse, pediatric ER nurse, and Aaron was working remotely, and we just thought of this great idea to go travel, and we thought, why not now? Let's do it now. We don't need to listen to the societal norms of graduate college, get a good job, get married, buy a house, have a baby, retire, and then travel. We don't need to wait until then. We can travel now.
Yeah.
We definitely want to do all those things, but just not in that same order. And that's one thing that we realized our parents, our grandparents, they didn't get to have what we have right now. You know, there was no such thing as a remote job back then.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing. And so we're so lucky that we get to do this. And we're also just so lucky that we had a lot of people in our lives, my parents, that encouraged us to just go and do and just enjoy it. Because like we said, or like I just said, you can think about the societal norms and peer pressure from friends, family, parents.
Yeah.
But don't let fear dictate your life. Don't let worries dictate your life. You dictate your life. You dictate what happens in your life.
Yeah, we weren't made to be creatures of fear. If you want to start a business at 18, if you want to buy a sailboat and sail around the world, if you want to buy a home and have this beautiful garden in the back, or if you want to have 6 kids, or whatever you want to do, don't be fearful. It just doesn't, I mean, it doesn't just mean our situation, but anybody's dream.
Any situation.
Don't have fear.
Yeah. I worry about a lot of things. I worry about the details, and I want things to be right and perfect and work out. And that's all okay. We're not saying don't be afraid, don't take caution.
Yeah, no.
But we're just saying don't give in to all the worries. Don't think about all these things that you need to do for the RV and that make you not get an RV.
Yeah.
Don't worry about all those things. Just go. Just do it. We're doing it. I promise you it's a lot easier than it looks.
Definitely is.
So that would be the number one advice that we would give ourselves looking back. Don't be afraid of all the small stuff. Just go and do it. And it's a lot easier than it looks.
And make memories.
Yes, make Midkiff memories. Thanks you guys for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments if you have anything that you want to add or anything that you think people would like to know before they start out on an adventure. But yeah, thanks for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll talk to you later. Bye!